You should really practice self-love on stage. Yeah, baby, really get into it. I'm not talking about anything salacious or something that should be done behind closed doors. I'm talking about you really pumping yourself up so that you feel comfortable in the spotlight. In honor of Valentine's Day, the day of love, and also the day that this episode is being released, I am coming to you with some of my best tips, the things that I actually do and use to feel confident and wonderful on stage. Because when I'm on stage, can't nobody tell me nothing. I am owning and shaping the energy in that room, all for the highest good. And that is because I am confident on stage, and today I'm going to give you just a few tips so you can be too. All right, let's go.
Welcome to the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Aleya Harris. If you're looking for actionable ways to overcome communication and differentiation challenges by sharing radically authentic stories, you are in the right place. Listen in and learn how to stand in the power of your unique narrative to transform your personal life, business, and workplace culture. And now, your host, award-winning international speaker, strategic storytelling consultant, and Japanese whiskey lover, Ruby Coral's mom, Aleya Harris.
I remember the first time I stepped on a large stage. I had no idea that I was going to become a professional speaker. I was just there trying to get leads for my then small, basically non-existent marketing business that focused on social media. It was in New Orleans at Cater Source. And I wasn't scared, but more asking myself all kinds of questions. Do I belong here? Are these people going to listen to me? Is what I have to say valuable for them, or is it just stuff that they've already heard? Why am I possibly the right person for them to listen to? So, not nervous, but not very nice to myself, right? But I got up on that stage and I did a great job because I kept getting asked back to speak at Cater Source in the special event of which I am very honored and blessed to have spoken there for several years. But if I had spoken to myself more positively, I would have had a more positive experience. And when I got off that stage, I would have felt much better about myself as well. And so through the years after getting on that stage and to now when I get on stages and I crush it, I feel awesome, the audience feels great, we're laughing, we're crying. There's been a journey and I picked up a couple of things along the way to help you feel more confident, to help you feel better, the things that I've used to feel better so that my inner monologue sounds now like, wow, they're going to love this. I have such great information to give them. I got this. I am the best. The light shines through me. I am just a channel for this experience. I'm excited to see what shows up. And when this is done, lives will be transformed, and so will I. And I get excited. There's no nerves. There's only just excitement. So I'm going to talk to you today about 5 different ways that I do that to show myself some self-love on stage. The first thing I do is I embrace my authenticity. I embrace my Aleya-ness. Okay, so since it's just you and me here, I have a bit of a secret. I don't really watch very many speakers speak. Okay, while I'm here, I might as well tell you another secret. I also don't listen to very many podcasts, and yet here we are. Is it because I think, oh, I'm so wonderful, I can't learn from nobody else? No, it's literally just because I just have been super busy. And when I'm at a conference, I usually get caught up talking to whoever wanted to talk to me before I got on stage or wanted to talk to me afterwards or meeting up with friends and all that stuff that I don't actually get in to seeing very many speakers. I'm doing better at this now. It's not something that I would like to have stay that way. But because of that, in the very beginning, I ended up developing an incredibly unique speaking style because I was just me. I didn't know no better. I didn't know that I was supposed to be somebody else. I didn't know I was supposed to mimic all this other styles and stuff that people are doing, because I simply just wasn't sitting with my butt in the seat watching them. Do I recommend that? Yes and no. It allowed me to not cower underneath a mantle of imposter syndrome, which a lot of people end up having coming from comparison, right? You see someone on stage that you love that just rocks the house, and then you start comparing yourself to them and feeling like you are less than. Instead, because I wasn't paying attention, basically, it was embarrassing to say, I was able to embrace my authenticity. There is definitely a way for you to pay attention, watch other speakers, learn the craft, learn the stagecraft, and also step in your authenticity. It's about learning the lessons, but not comparing yourself to others or using those lessons to pull yourself down. There are certain things about me that throughout my life I thought were kind of weird, but when I get on stage, it's amazing. Like this voice of mine. When I was in elementary school, I didn't like my name. I wanted my name to be Lisa because it was easier than Aleya. And my name is Aleya Desnay. It's not like it's like Aleya Susan. Like, no, the whole thing is just exotic, if you will. I didn't like my name. And I didn't like my voice. It's always been booming, always been loud, always been captivating, if you will. And I just wanted it to sound like everybody else's. I can't even do it, right? I'm trying, but I can't do it. I wanted it to sound like everybody else's. And it's not even making fun. Like, I wanted that tone, that sound, because literally that's all the people that I could see that were being successful, and they were talking and they seemed to have it down. But over the years, I realized how much of a gift my voice was, that it was so unique. I was actually just looking on my own Insight Timer profile, which we're going to get to later, and telling you some resources there that are free. And someone says, your voice is so soothing. The moment you started talking, I felt at greater peace. You're very powerful. Oh, it's so wonderful. Great visualization. All of this, right, coming from my voice. And it's because I embraced my voice as it truly is, how it comes out of me. And then I learned to start playing with it. So when I get on stage, it's almost like I do untrained voice acting for different pieces of the speaking engagement. So when I'm talking about being and doing something that's grandiose, I might add a little bit more bass to it and a little bit more vibrato. Or then sometimes I get into a slower pace when you really just need to calm and relax. If I've taken you up, I need to take you down. And at other times, I just get a little bit riled up because it's exciting to be excited, right? There's lots of different options that I can use with my voice. And it's unique, and everybody can modulate their voice, but a few people do, because we're so worried about what the other person is sounding like and what they're doing that we don't really love the assets and the tools that we're given. I'm also really tall. It's funny because if you've ever had a Zoom call with me or seen me online, people are always shocked that I'm so tall. I'm 5'10", so I'm tall. And people are like, oh my God, you're so tall. Yeah, and I don't slouch. Thank you, Mama. My mom put me in ballet when I was younger so that I would stand up straight. And I use all 5'10" of me and my super duper long arms to take up space on stage. That's part of what makes me me, part of what makes me authentic. Another thing that makes me authentic is I have a hard time lying. I tried it. It doesn't work really well for me. So when I'm on stage, I can't be anyone besides me. I enjoy it. I enjoy me. I enjoy, I was just on stage a little while ago at the time of this recording speaking at Walt Disney World. I know, pretty dope, right? For the Carnegie conference. And there was a little gap in the stage and my heel got stuck. And I looked down and I said, Mr. Shoe, what are you doing? And I unstuck it and it happened twice. And I just made a joke of it and I kept rolling, but I didn't let it throw me off because I was like, you know what? I am 2 steps away from being barefoot. Have y'all ever had this problem? Have y'all ever wanted to just go barefoot? I think I made them raise their hands or something. I don't remember. But it's just, I stayed in me. I stayed in what was happening. And it's easy to do that. It's easy to flow when you're not trying to be someone else. Because when you're trying to be someone else, you have to remember the persona you're trying to be. Then something happens and you're like, well, who should I be now when something happens? And then you get totally thrown off. But when you're just you and you're a you that you love, that comes across. Authenticity for me is also a great tool for connection. When people see that I'm being myself, it gives them invitation to be themselves. When they see that I'm sharing stories about how incredibly imperfect I am, super imperfect, it allows them the ability to rest in their own perfections. And have that be okay, at least for the next 45 to 60 minutes. We can all be imperfect together. And we can revel in those imperfections and glorify the beauty of them together as I am taking you through an experience on the stage. So the first thing that I have for you when you're loving yourself is embracing your true authenticity. The things that you might have thought were weird or whatever before are probably the reason why people are listening to you in the first place. My stories, my voice, my height, the way I take up stage, the way I don't take myself so seriously. They're all reasons why people are listening to me. At that same conference, there was a speaker who came after me who is just a love. He is just a joy, and he's British, so the accent doesn't hurt. His name is Andy Jarvis. I hope to have him on the podcast here this season in season 4. I was just on his podcast. We recorded it on the spot after just meeting in Walt Disney World. And he said something to me that was so wonderful because we chanted during the session now. We Anahu, you've been here for a while. If you've listened to a couple episodes, we chant on this podcast. It's a thing. Don't worry about it. Let's keep pushing. And he told me, and he's British, mind you. He's like, I wasn't really going to chant with you. But then by the time we got there, you had pulled us along with the stories that you could have asked me to hop on one leg and squawk like a chicken, and I would have done it. Something like that. And I know it's because that I am presenting such an authentic version of myself that it allows people the space. So if you're wondering if you can be authentic and, well, what will people think? Oh, I have a fear of judgment. I have this terrifying thing that something cataclysmic is going to happen if I just show up as me. Let me tell you, the cataclysmic thing will most likely happen if you don't show up as you. You won't connect with the audience. They won't go along with you and do crazy and wacky things that you want to do together, all in the name of helping and serving them, right? When you are your authentic self, and your authentic self is pretty awesome. I know, because we all have that same God spark, that same spirit spark inside of us, that soul that is truly without flaw, because that is within you. When you let that shine, and the more and more and more you let that shine, the better and better and better you get from stage. So tip number one, I'm not going to belabor the point, embrace your authenticity. Tip number 2, preparation and practice, but with a caveat. Okay, what I don't want you to do, and are you listening to me? Hello? Okay, I know you probably tuned out a little bit. I need you to bring it back. I want you to listen to me. When you're getting up on stage, do not over practice. Do not memorize your talk word for word unless you were doing a TED Talk or like a speak event or something like that. Do not. You will mess up and you will not like yourself afterwards. It is unnecessary from my perspective. This is just my 2 cents, as an award-winning international speaker. Just my 2 cents. You do not need to practice everything word for word. However, you do not take the stage for granted. I have a talk that I actually tried to get rid of and people kept requesting it, so I put it back on the website. It's called Break Out of the Sea of Sameness. It's one of my most popular talks. It is now, at the time of this recording, I want to say 2 years old, a year and a half old. And for me, I'm just like, okay, I could give this thing forever, but I mean, I'm going to retire it. And then I brought it back because people really liked it and they'd heard about how good it was. Every single time before I deliver Break Out of the Sea of Sameness, I run through it. I can't even tell you how many times I've given this presentation, over 20. Every single time I run through it, every single time I tweak and adjust it for that audience, every single time I think of what story is going to serve the best, what the transformation is, every single time as part of my preparation, I pray over it and I pray over the audience. Every single time. So that when I get on stage, I know exactly where I am in those slides. I can add in stories on a whim when I'm feeling something from the audience, and someone maybe shouts out something, which I adore, BT dubs. I don't care if we're in a room of 20 or we're in a room of 2,000. I love it when people shout things out in, like, for positive things. Like, don't heckle me. But I love it, and I can adjust and change, and it gives me the vibe of the room. But I can only do that because I know my content. But I don't memorize that. This is the exact bullet point on this slide. No, what I do is I have as few words on slides as possible so that the slides are there for the audience to have a visual representation of what's happening so they don't get lost, so that I have a visual representation so I don't get lost, and also just to provide the structure. In my mind, what I'm keeping in my mind is a controlling idea, the main point of why I'm talking and what I'm trying to convince you of, and the steps that I'm trying to convince you of it. In Break Out of the Sea of Sameness, all I'm trying to do, dear listener, is basically tell you how wonderful you are. And if you get into the core of who you are and how wonderful you are, and you share that out, that is what sets you apart. That is what differentiates you. Funny how that's kind of what I've been talking about this whole time, isn't it? Fancy that. It's like I don't know, do messaging strategy and try to stay on brand. That's a topic for another podcast. Anywho, when you are practicing and preparing, you also want to look at yourself in the mirror. Are you excited to talk to yourself? Are you? Is it thrilling to see you on stage? If it's not, you might want to regroup. Now, I'm not saying that everyone needs to have a lot of energy or the same energy. I have a lot of energy, just in general. I mean, you're talking to me, you're listening to me, you feel me. You're not going to have my exact same energy, thank God, right? That's why I'm excited to hear you speak, and I promise I will sit there and put my butt in the seat and listen to you speak. I'm excited to see you speak because it's different. It's something that you are bringing that is unique, but it still needs to not fall flat. You can hide in a room of 10, right? You're giving an audience, small group. You can hide if you're giving a presentation to 10 people. When you step into the rooms that I speak in, where there's 400, 500, 1,000 people in that audience, and you aren't excited to be there and pulling them into your energy, not in a fake way, not like no, I really hate that. But just literally, when I talk about energy, I mean pulling them into a positive flow of life force. And you can't get that when you're looking at yourself in the mirror. Ask yourself why. Do you not like the presentation? What about the presentation's making you nervous? What do you need to change? Is it your outfit? Is it your hair sometimes? Again, a whole nother podcast about Black women hair on stage. But literally, if my hair is not doing what I need it to do, I have to go down to the depths of my soul to find that same excitement about that presentation, especially because everybody wants to have their conference in Florida. Everybody and their mama wants you to talk in Florida, in Orlando, which is great. Mickey's there. However, so is humidity. And if I wet set my hair, it does not do well in the humidity. I'm getting off this soapbox. But if you have a conference that you want me to come and speak in Vegas, baby, I'm there all day. The humidity is much lower. I digress. Practice and prepare, but do not over-prepare. Do not over-rehearse. Practice and know cold, back and front, what exactly you're trying to convey to the audience, what transformation you're trying to convey. even if you mess up on a slide or whatever, first of all, no one's going to know but you. And second of all, no one will care if you are moving them along a transformation that they can understand where you are at and you're telling good stories along the way. Storytelling is a whole nother thing. I am like literally talking about like 5 different podcast episodes in this podcast episode. I didn't realize that I was going to be so jazzed about this topic, but storytelling is my jam, and it's a whole nother topic talking about stories from stage. Okay. First thing was embrace your authenticity. Second thing was prepare and practice, but don't over prepare. The third thing is mindfulness and relaxation. So I want you, and this is free and I'm not making any money from it, but it's just I put all of my meditations and visualizations in one place on Insight Timer. Well, not all of them. There's still some in this podcast, but some good ones. So you can go to insighttimer.com/Aleya Harris, ALEYAHARRIS. And I want you to listen to the self-worth meditation for entrepreneurs and executives. The next time you have a presentation, the next time you're about to go on stage, I want you to listen to that meditation. It is powerful. It's a powerful reminder of all of the wonderful things that you are, and it will short circuit the negative self-talk that we all have in our head. We all have it. So relaxation is great for stage fright, and you can do some chanting, you can use some essential oils, all of that's great. But it kind of counteracts what I was just talking about, is like you bringing and owning the energy in the room. There's a balance. You need to come in with a sense of calm, like you're not like shaking in your boots, but it's about a calm focus so that you then are taking the reins of your own energy and the energy in the room and manipulating it for the highest good of everybody concerned, right? And in order to do that, you need to be relaxed, but you also need to be confident and knowing who the F you are. You are worthy. You are majestic. You are eloquent. You are gracious. You are graceful. You are tall and gorgeous. Your lipstick is on fire. That hair is on point. You got it. And girl, your booty look good today and your stomach is flat. If you're wondering what happens inside my mind before I'm on stage, there you go. You are welcome. Whatever that is for you is the type of thing that you want to repeat to yourself. There's a balance of mindfulness and relaxation, and then positive affirmations and self-talk. This is the epitome of self-love here, right? But the better thing, so number 1, embrace your authenticity. Number 2, prepare and practice, but don't over-prepare. Number 3, mindfulness and relaxation, balance with positive affirmations and self-talk. But number 4 is what you do every day. So I recently have read, and now I'm rereading the book, Ask and It Is Given by Abraham Hicks. It's a law of attraction book, but I've been actually doing the processes in the book every single day. And the processes are things around just feeling better. How do you move yourself to a more positive feeling? It doesn't have to mean that you're moving from depressed to blissful, but maybe you're moving from depressed to just slightly annoyed, which is a better feeling. You're moving up the emotional scale. You are visualizing blessings coming your way and visualizing them as they are now. You're finding positive aspects and noting them of things that you love right now. All of those things are just, the goal is to get you in a high vibe so that you can attract what you want. And this year, by the way, is my year to attract all the things that I want. Can I get an amen from you? Thank you. I'm also amening you. Amen. Because I believe that for you as well. Anyways, I digress. What I've noticed is, as I've been doing this every day now for maybe like 3 months-ish or so, when I step on stage, I can instantly visualize success much faster. So it's like my visualization muscles and my positive feeling muscles have been getting a workout, and they're much stronger. So there's things that you can do right before you get on stage, but then there's that everyday practice of moving up, moving higher on that positive feeling scale. Yes, to attract what you want, but also that helps me stand in my power, because the trueness of who you are, the trueness of your soul having this experience as a human being is that of love, of high vibe, of wonderfulness, of bliss, of joy. That is you when you're in your truest state. When you feel those things, you aren't doing anything to detract from what you want to manifest and to detract from the truth of who you are. So the more you practice those muscles off stage, the more you're able to channel that on stage. So my number 4 for you, my tip for you is, as you are moving and building up your career as a speaker, an author, a coach, a business person, I don't care what you are, this is actually pretty much good for anybody, but I'm talking about speakers today. Have a daily practice where you are doing something, it could be 10 minutes a day, that you are consistently and consciously, is truly the key word, consciously, intentionally moving into a better feeling place. Now, as you are doing that, you will probably start to want to do it more often. So like now I start off like, I got to do it for 10 minutes a day and I'm going to put this on my calendar. It's like way to commit to myself. Now I do it like randomly throughout the day. Now I'm thinking and constantly feeling the process in moments, and it really does help. And this is coming from someone who knows and understands depression. Because if you're sitting here listening like, Aleya, that sounds like some highfalutin stuff that only happy people can do. You sound like a happy chick. I'm gonna need you to scroll back through your Apple Podcasts and listen to some of my other episodes where I sit here and I tell you all about my battles with postpartum depression and how I'm still truly going through it, but I'm so much better than I was. Where for basically a year after my beautiful baby girl, Ruby Coral, was born, I was struggling to find joy in the most joyful moments. So what I'm telling you is not something that just a regular happy-go-lucky person did to become happier. This is something that someone who has battled through the depths did to find their way out and to consistently create more positive experiences for themselves and others. So it's something that I encourage for you as well. That book recommendation, one more time, is Ask and It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks, or Abraham Hicks. I don't have it in front of me right now, so I can't remember who they credit as the author. Esther Hicks is a channel for the non-physical entity, a non-physical collective consciousness called Abraham, that they name as Abraham. And Abraham is technically the entity and the being, the non-physical being that is writing the book. That's why I can't remember the author. Okay, the 5th one, self-love on stage. Last one, don't forget you're on stage in front of an audience. Engage your audience. My 5th tip for you is to actually engage the audience. It's really easy to feel nervous and unconfident when you're standing on a stage and you're like, oh, it's all on me. I don't think of myself like that. I think of myself as I'm the facilitator for a group experience. Yeah, sure, I'm doing most of the talking and I was the one who came with the content. But everyone in that room, again, whether it's 20 people or 2,000 people, everyone in that room is a participant with me. So I make eye contact with, sometimes it gets darker as the room goes back, but I still make eye contact. I ask rhetorical questions and I ask straight questions. I ask, hey, raise your hand if. I use humor. Someone told me the other day that they're like, I don't understand how you can talk about postpartum and then by the time you're done with your story, I'm laughing. It's like, because I don't take myself so seriously. I use humor. This should be an enjoyable experience. This should not be dreadful. People should not be giving you the clap afterwards because they have to, because it's awkward if they don't clap when you get off stage. They should be giving you that wholehearted clap. I've gotten standing ovations before. People should be enthused by you, right? In order to do that, you have to engage them. Everyone's a narcissist. I mean, there are people that are like, clinically narcissists, but everyone has a little bit of drop of it in them. We all are really only caring about what's in it for me. Can you make it about me? Did you make it about me yet? Can you make it about me? Because it's been about 5 seconds since it's been about me. When you're talking at people, it's not about them. Even if your words are about them, even if in your little heart of hearts, you just want to help them. You just want to help them. It doesn't matter. You are not them. They are not talking. You are talking. And until you get them engaged, they're not listening. It takes so much pressure off of you and allows you to just say, oh, I'm here to facilitate. There's no need for them to judge me or this or that. I'm here to facilitate an experience for them. And if they're in the experience, we're in it together. I just happen to be the one that's on the stage. So those are my 5 tips for you about how you can feel great about being in the spotlight, how you can feel great about loving yourself and feeling confident in public speaking. If you would like more, you should know by now that I got you. Yeah, buddy, that's right. I gotcha. If you want more, what I would recommend you do is you sign up for Spark the Stage. Spark the Stage is my program that will help you become a professional speaker, but not just any professional speaker. It will help you become a radically authentic professional speaker. You will be able to, in 6 weeks of on-demand and live taught coursework, become radically authentic, deliver a compelling signature talk from stage, and understand how to pitch yourself and actually get booked so you can be on said stage. We're going to talk about building your confidence even further. You're going to understand how to communicate your unique message, that message that only you have within you. We're going to talk about storytelling. You're going to know exactly how to get those speaking engagements and get paid whether the organizer pays you or not. If you ever thought that you had an inkling of being on stage, I encourage you to go ahead and sign up for Spark the Stage at aleyaharris.com/spark. That is aleyaharris.com/spark. And sign up today. I really recommend that you do, because as you sign up, you will start to see that confidence will come because you will have the knowledge that you need to become a professional speaker. You will have the support that you need to become a professional speaker. So if you're listening to this and it's during a window when Spark the Stage is open, sign up. I encourage you to. If Spark the Stage enrollment is closed, sorry we missed you. Go on ahead and sign up for the wait list. Join the wait list because you will be the first to know when it opens, which is, I don't know, an exciting day, not just for me, but for you, because last time in the beta, people signed up. They loved it. They're speaking now. They're developing their speaking careers, and we only did that in 4 weeks. They really had like a crash course. This one is 6 weeks, and it's on demand and live taught. So go ahead and sign up, aleyaharris.com/spark. Thank you so much for joining me here on this episode of the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast. I hope that I have been able to help you show yourself a little self-love on stage, feeling more confident in the spotlight. If you have any questions, I am an actual human. I am very accessible. This is not an AI-generated deepfake voice. And I am not so high and mighty that I don't actually like hearing from people. Send me an email. My email address is Aleya, Aleya, @aleyaharris.com. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, my name is Aleya Harris. This is the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast, and I am wishing you, my friend, my dear listener, lots of love, light, and abundance. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Aleya Harris. Vibing with what you hear? Leave a 5-star review to spread the love, and be sure to click subscribe. We wish you love, light, and abundance. See you next time.